I had planned on making this video back when BlizzConline happened, and now that the beta is about to come out, I feel like it's as good of a time as any. So here's a few things that I'd like to see in Overwatch 2. By the way, this is pretty much exclusively for PvP, so if you're interested in the PvE stuff, as am I, but I don't have any predictions for that. The first thing I'd like to see in Overwatch 2 upon release, or possibly in the beta, but I highly doubt it, and it's likely one of the most important things for the longevity of the game and the learning process of new players, is an unranked mode. Playing quick play might as well be a completely different game than competitive. The maps and objectives are the same, and apart from King of the Hill, which is identical, or at least is now, it didn't always used to be, the rule set is completely different, which changes the way the game modes are played. Not only would it prepare new players better for ranked, but it would also be a great place for, more experienced players to simply play the game, or play a complete game of Overwatch without the pressure of competitive. While we're on the subject of new players, we all know Overwatch is a fairly knowledge-based game. Not as much as MOBAs with hundreds of characters or some fighting games can be, but there are still many maps and characters to be learned, and there is simply not enough time in the span of 25 levels to learn to play Overwatch properly. Raising the minimum level for competitive from 25 to 50 or even 100 would help competitive players of all ranks avoid having to deal with new players who are simply not properly assessed by the MMR system yet, or are not ready for competitive at all. It would also help those players who are not ready for competitive be more ready for, said game mode. Furthermore, this change would indirectly lessen the impact of Smurfs and alt accounts by giving the MMR system more time to lock onto someone's true rank before doing placements. It's easy to throw 25 levels, but it's a lot more difficult to do it for another 60 plus hours it takes to get to level 50 or 100. Buying accounts will still be a thing for those who want to smurf but don't want to, grind out the levels, but accounts are likely to be more expensive due to the amount of time and effort it would take to make an account buyable. If the Overwatch team wants to keep the feeling of progression that comes with unlocking competitive at level 25, they could simply have the player unlock unranked at that level, making quick play the equivalent of newcomer in Siege. Something else the Overwatch devs could just steal from Rainbow Six Siege is the pick ban phase. Not only does it add a fair amount of map-specific strategy to the game, it would also allow players to more effectively be in control of their gaming experience, as well as lessening the impact of one-tricks. The community has been asking for this kind of thing for years, and they even tried it a while back with the weekly developer bans, which were fairly poorly executed, but gave the game a refreshing change of pace every week or so, at a time where, balance patches were not as common as one would like. Obviously, banning a character who is someone's main for a whole week is a bit excessive and would make them not want to play the game, but on a game-per-game basis, there really shouldn't be an issue. The Overwatch devs stated that their reasoning for not including this feature is twofold. Firstly, it would add time to the pre-game phase, which they try to minimize, and secondly, that there is not enough characters for this to work. Well, firstly, the character pick and prep phase are both fairly long, about 20 and 40 seconds respectively. Shaving 5 to 10 seconds off of those would not affect the ability to get into position as a defender, would make attacking less boring during the 40 or so seconds you're just waiting, staring at the doors to open, or breaking some arcade cabinets and stuff. That time would then be repurposed as the pick ban phase, where both teams would take turns banning 2 characters each, just like in Siege, so about 5 to 10 seconds per character. The next issue is too few characters. That is simply no longer the case. There have always been about enough DPS variety for a pick ban to work. The only issue was tank and support. These days, tank has enough variety, especially with Overwatch 2 making Doomfist a tank, but support will also have enough characters that a few bans would not render it unplayable, as at least one other support is guaranteed to release with Overwatch 2. The next thing would be area denotations. Communication has always been an integral but problematic part of Overwatch. The ping system, which comes with Overwatch 2 in the beta, will help with non-verbal and non-specific communication, like the classic, there's a guy over there, that's a great call, but giving each area on the map a name in-game that appears in a corner of the screen somewhere would improve verbal communication, as it would reduce confusion if everyone had the same resources and callouts for parts of the maps. Valorant and Rainbow Six do this, and not only would it further improve the new ping system and the existing forms of communications, but it really wouldn't be that hard to implement. Overwatch is a team game at its roots, And a great way to enhance the team play experience would be to add in-game tournaments, kind of like Clash in League of Legends, allowing players of all skill levels to more easily experience the potential team play which Overwatch has to offer, and finally letting players in GM and above play something other than duo queue ranked, which kinda sucks. And lastly, since we already have a replay system, it would be nice to improve upon it by adding a community-led VOD review system to stop griefers and cheaters, like the Overwatch system which CSGO has, allowing players who would want to donate some time out of their day to help Blizzard and the community keep the game free of people who would want to ruin the fun for others. Also, it makes for great content. It's always fun to watch Overwatch in CSGO. And also, last thing, please get rid of private profiles. Bye-bye.